everyone, they are weekly news and look at national and international events. Thank you for choosing to join us and welcome to you all. Let's begin with the headlines. Details are coming up in a little while. Tebboune meets Erdogan in Algeria, visit amid Gaza conflict, and the two leaders hit the Zionist entity for crimes in Gaza. Algeria signed several deals with Turkey, including gas contract, and the Algerian-Turkish Economic Forum sees the light in Algiers. African Union Judicial Dialogue Human Rights in Africa discussed. Attaf represents the President of the Republic at the 5th AU Summit of the Group of 10. And Bourali represents President at the investiture ceremony of the new President of Ecuador. Over 14,000 people killed in the Zionist attack since October 7th in the war against Gaza. And the Algeria's victorious step toward 2026 World Cup in face-off with Mozambique, and Belmadi shows evidence of a true leadership. Welcome to the details. President Tayyip Erdogan was welcomed by the Algerian President Abdelmadjid Tebboune on Tuesday at Houari Boumediene Airport in the capital Algiers. The two leaders entered their bilateral meeting following an official welcoming ceremony at the Algerian Presidential Palace. Erdogan and Tebboune also headed the second Turkey-Algeria High-Level Cooperation Council, where bilateral relations were discussed in all aspects and how cooperation can be further deepened, and a range of contracts and agreements were signed between the two countries. The two also discussed the ongoing conflict in Gaza, regional and international developments. In September, Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan met the Algerian counterpart Ahmed Attaf in Ankara, highlighting expanded relations with the North Africa countries and the wider continent, where Turkey pursues a cooperative, non-exploitative approach. Algeria has signed several deals with Turkey, including a gas supply contract with the Algerian state oil and gas firm Sonatrach, the Algerian presidency said on Tuesday. The deals were signed during the official visit by Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan to Algiers. Algiers Minister of Foreign Affairs and National Community abroad Ahmed Attaf arrived Wednesday in Oyala, Equatorial Guinea, to represent the President of the Republic Abdelmadjid Tebboune at the 5th African Union AU Summit of the Group of 10 to be held on Friday. Ankara's priorities were a permanent ceasefire and an impended humanitarian end, the Turkish President Erdogan says, strongly condemning Zionist attacks in Gaza, which constitutes collective punishment and war crimes. Turkey hopes to achieve positive results on a captive exchange deal between the Zionist entity and the Palestinian resistance group Hamas as soon as possible. Turkey is in constant communication to solve the hostages crisis and expects to obtain positive results from the talks. Erdogan said Turkish Foreign Minister Hakan Fidan and Intelligence Chief Ibrahim Kalin, with joint efforts from Qatar, were engaged in talks for the release of the hostages. On Zionist bombardment of Gaza, Erdogan said attacks on hospitals, places of worship, other facilities in Gaza which should be under protection, and the forced displacement of people amounted to inhumanity and barbarism. Turkey unequivocally rejects Zionist attacks in Gaza, which constitute collective punishment and war crimes, he said, underlining that Ankara's priorities were a permanent ceasefire and impeded humanitarian aid. The establishment of a Palestinian state with its capital in East Jerusalem based on the 1967 borders is now inevitable. In this regard, we will continue to do our utmost, he stressed. And in Algiers, the Speaker of the People's National Assembly Parliament's lower house, Brahim Bourali, will represent Thursday the President of the Republic, Abdelmadjid Tebboune, at the investiture ceremony of the President-elect of the Republic of Ecuador, Daniel Noboa, the lower house said Wednesday in a statement. Algeria has appointed a new ambassador to Spain after nearly 20 months of diplomatic friction caused by Madrid's U-turn on the Western Sahara issue, the Algerian Foreign Ministry announced on Thursday. The Spain government has approved the appointment of Abdel Fattah Dermoun as Algeria's ambassador to Spain. Just to remind that Algeria has called its former ambassador in March 2022 to protest against Spain's U-turn in favor of Moroccan autonomy plan for Western Sahara. Gaza's tragedy now. Gaza's government said Tuesday the death toll in the Palestinian territory has reached 40,128 since war began on October 7th between Zionist forces and Hamas militants. The government said more than 5,000 children and nearly 4,000 women were among the dead, with another 33,000 people wounded. Its health ministry has previously said it can no longer give exact totals, and intense fighting has prevented bodies from being recovered. Journalists Sari Mansour and Hassouna Salim were hit by Zionist airstrike on the Bureij camp refugee in Gaza, besides to at least 31 people who were killed between Bureij and Nusayrat refugee camps, officials said. And 31 premature babies trapped in hospital with no life-sustaining equipment have been evacuated by ambulance. Gastrointestinal diseases and respiratory and skin infections are rising, UN agencies said in Khan Yunis. Sewage flows in the streets of Gaza as local sanitation services have ceased operating. And for Gaza, 2.3 million residents, finding drinkable water has become close to impossible. There are about 700 people, including medical staff and injured people, inside Gaza's Indonesian hospital. There was intense fighting reported around Gaza's Indonesian hospital on Monday. Zionist tanks surrounded the hospital in northern Gaza after fire killed at least 12 Palestinians in the complex. Qatar's foreign ministry says negotiations involving Hamas and Zionists over a potential release of people being held are in their final stages. Gaza's health ministry spokesperson said in an interview on Tuesday that the occupancy rate in hospitals in Gaza North has reached 190%. Zionists bombed and destroyed parts of Al-Shifa Hospital, the largest in Gaza, where more than 1,700 people are still held captive under siege by the Zionists. Last week, Zionist forces seized the hospital to search for what they said was a Hamas tunnel network and command center built underneath the complex, but Hamas has denied the allegations. The presidents of Turkey and Algeria had harsh words on Zionist actions in Gaza on Tuesday, as they said they hoped for successful negotiations on the release of captives and prisoners. Participants in the 6th African Union Judicial Dialogue held November 2022 in Algiers, Algeria, unanimously pointed the need to set up an African judicial network and a mechanism for monitoring the decisions of the African Corridor for Human People's Rights. We wrap up by shedding the light on the Algerian national team and its significant stride towards the 2026 FIFA World Cup after clinching a critical victory against Mozambique in the African World Cup qualifiers. The match, which took place Sunday, ended with 2-0 score favoring the Algerian side, underscoring their strong performance and reflecting their determination to secure a spot in the world's Premier Football tournament. In such cool and fresh atmosphere, I can't thank you enough to support and follow us. Hope to see you well next week. Have a pleasant weekend. Goodbye.